Morning, Michelle. How are you?
Morning, Peter. I'm good. How are you?
I'm wonderful, thank you. Wonderful. Michelle, could you tell me a little bit about yourself and your organization, please?
Sure. My name is Michelle Bradley. I'm the founder and CEO of an organisation called the Parent Rooms. We're a mental health charity that supports parents in Northern Ireland with things like depression, anxiety, OCD, and we do that in quite a number of ways. So our main sort of service is through peer support, so connecting parents with others who have been through their experiences can help them get a sense of hope and some guidance around how they can recover. We also do counselling, we do wellbeing programs, we do social connection activities, and a whole range of other things that just help move parents beyond a period of distress and into happier, healthier lives.
My goodness, that sounds like a lot of work. That sounds like a lot of work. So how long have you done? How long have you been doing this for, Michelle?
So before we incorporated as a charity in 2019, so we've been officially running for 3 years now. But before that, we were an online peer support group since about 2014. So it's been going for quite a while. The community's been growing for some time. But yeah, as a charity, it's been the last 3 years that we really kind of hit the ground running and developed.
What would you say have been your biggest learnings, either from the charity perspective or again in life in general?
God, there's been so many. How do you pick one? I think for me, the importance of valuing people, I think, is probably the biggest one for me. So as a new to post CEO, this is my first time leading an organization. So the leadership element of it is really, really important because that trickles right the way down through the organization. Valuing people and understanding that, people want to bring their passion to their job, and that helps then parents whenever they come, they feel that passion from the team. And then in terms of things like mental health, it's about listening, being open, having open, honest conversations, not being afraid to share your vulnerabilities. So that's been a really, really key learning for me, I think, is allowing myself to be vulnerable. So that sort of almost gives permission for other people to be vulnerable. And that's where the healing happens, really.
Very good, very good. And who's been the most, I guess, either coach or mentor that's had the biggest impact on you?
So we were assigned a mentor through a community foundation funding program about 2 years ago called Clayton Rowe. He works with the Sabin Group, and Clayton, the first 6 months that we worked with him, helped us put together our 3-year strategic plan and has been kind of working with us since then to develop various other parts of the business, like diversifying our income and just becoming more scalable, I suppose. So he's also he kind of fits in with our ethos, that whole valuing people and he's really good at taking a really creative look at things and identifying things that we might not have thought of ourselves. So Clayton has been absolutely invaluable to us.
Excellent. And do you have any favorite quotes or sayings that you'd like to share this morning?
Yes, I don't know if you will see this or if it'll be back to front because it's Zoom. It'll be back to front. So my team got me this little plate on my desk. It says, "Screw it, let's do it." So that's basically the attitude we take here at the Parent Rooms. If there's something, we try not to be held back by doing things because that's the way they should be done or that's the way they always have been done. If there's something we think is going to be really valuable to parents, even if it's something that hasn't been tried or tested before, we're like, screw it, let's do it, let's give it a go and see what happens. And that's where most of our innovation and most of our successes come from.
Very good. Have you copyrighted that, or
I think we need to.
available to the general public? Like
exactly. We'll start
like
printing Parent Room stickers and screw it, let's do it on
it. Brilliant. And who's the first person, Michelle, that comes to mind whenever I say the word success to you?
Oh gosh, there's so many. But for me, I think it's probably just the parents that were supported, actually, because they're coming from a place of real struggle, like real darkness, and they're using every bit of grit and determination that they have in order to improve their lives with themselves and their kids. And like that's the greatest success that anybody can really ask for, isn't it? Is taking that control whenever you feel utterly broken and being able to transform that into something incredible and really positive. And most of the parents that we support then go on to help others. So that for me is success. That's the biggest value that I can put on it.
And what have you learned about yourself during your journey?
That my brain works very differently from a lot of other people's brains. I think for me, I've learned from a neurodiversity perspective. I was diagnosed with ADHD this year, and from a neurodiversity perspective, it's learning how to work with yourself and with your brain and not get in your own way. So for me, it's things like I know I can spend 3 days hyper focusing on something and get 2 weeks of work done and then completely burn out for 4 days, but accepting that that's okay and that's just how I work. which means that on my hyper focus days, I get a lot done. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that happens. And on the days where I can't get a lot done, that's when I'm pacing the office with a whiteboard marker going, right, where are the ideas coming from? And just getting stuff out and not worrying about it, not structuring it and just letting it flow. So yeah, learning to work with my brain, and then that's helped me then to work with others who maybe work a wee bit differently as well. So.
All right, I'll have to make sure I speak to you on one of your focus days.
Oh, absolutely.
That sounds exciting.
Yesterday was one of those days.
Oh, there you go. And what's the biggest challenge that you and the parent rooms are currently facing?
For us, it's always been sort of sustainable income. So obviously with the COVID pandemic, and now we're going into this cost of living crisis, and we have no local government, access to funding is usually pretty difficult, particularly funding around things like core costs and overheads and salaries. We find it really, really difficult to secure those things for any length of time. So we're constantly just kind of pushing to try and find income that's going to help us to grow and scale, because the need is growing. I mean, our referrals are up 64%. So we're trying to grow and meet that need, but we can't do that without the investment. So that's kind of my focus at the minute, is trying to bring in the money.
All right, and well, I'm sure that anyone who listens and hears from you this morning will be eager to help contribute towards what is a fantastic cause. Fantastic cause. And what would you say to anyone thinking of either going into business? You know, I guess a charity is a business. So what would you say to anyone thinking of going into business today?
I would say don't doubt yourself, or doubt yourself, but be okay with doubting yourself and proceed anyway. I know for myself, imposter syndrome got a hold of me for a number of years. I mean, we probably could have had this organization set up back in 2015, 2016, but I doubted my own abilities. And I think there's a lot of things when you're starting up a business that you're not really sure about. There's skill gaps that you think you know that you need that you don't have. Don't wait until you have them. Learn them as you go, and find other people who've done something similar who can point you in the right direction, and just don't let it hold you back, because like the worst thing that's going to happen is it'll fail, but it's going to fail if you don't start it. So you know, just push on.
Brilliant, good advice, good advice. And if you started the parent rooms again, if you could turn the clock back and start it again, what would you do differently?
Oh, that's an interesting question. What would I do differently? I probably would have built a team around me quicker, because there was a lot of it. There was maybe 2 or 3 years of doing it pretty much on my own, and trying to support parents and then grow the organization from an operational standpoint as well. So I think I probably would have invested in getting a team around me quicker, because the team is really where the magic happens, and I can only do so much.
And if somebody wanted to get in touch with you or the organization, what would be the best way to go about that, Michelle?
So our website is probably the main one. You can put referrals in there, so you can refer yourself or someone can refer for you, and that's theparentrooms.co.uk. And we're also on social media at the Parent Rooms across all social media platforms. So yeah, that's probably one of the best places too.
Fantastic. Well, Michelle Bradley from the Parent Rooms, thanks very much for telling us about your story and your journey. It sounds like a fantastic charity, and I wish you all the success in the future.
Thanks so much.